Yeah, hi. So I'm starting my demo. So as you can see, I've opened the manifest files. So I have made some changes regarding the memory allocation. So the main reason of doing this was because it was giving me a runtime error when I was trying to deploy a lot of applications. So I'll just commit my changes. So now I'll go to the delivery pipeline. So as you can see, the build phase has already been passed, and because the next item in the pipeline is the deploy pilot UK, so the deploy pilot UK is running. As you can already see that I've already created a pipeline chain, and the build phase will be followed by the deploy pilot UK. The deploy pilot UK will be followed by the deploy US pilot, and the next prod environments are of UK and US. As you can already see, the deploy pilot UK has been successful, and so the deploy US pilot has been initiated. So as you can see that the deploy US pilot phase has been successful, and so the deploy UK prod has been initiated. So the deploy UK prod is in progress, and the next line item is the US prod deployment stage, which will be the final stage. So now the deploy US prod is in progress.
Yeah, hi. So now I'll be showing the different routes to the different deployment stages. Since now every stage has been successfully deployed, so what I'll do is I'll access the routes and check whether the correct code is deployed or not. So before going on with this, I've actually mentioned in the mail also that I was not able to create a new space because of the trial version account. Moreover, the coupon code was not working for me. So what I've done is that instead of using the domain as eu.gb, so I've specifically mentioned that the pilot UK phase will have UK pilot. I'll mention the same in my report also, just to be very clear about it. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll access all these links that has been created. Okay. Yeah, hi. So now I will access all the links that has been created for each deployment phase. So for the UK pilot phase, the URL will consist of UK pilot. For the deploy US pilot, I've mentioned pilot US. Now for the prod UK, I've mentioned the prod UK in the host. Okay, so the first two tasks have been successfully completed. Now coming back to the third task. Okay, so the third task want us to make sure that the blue-green deployment has been done in our application toolchain. So what exactly is blue-green development? Blue-green development makes sure that there won't be any downtime in case of any deployment activities, and it will act as a load balancing in advanced scenarios. But right now we'll talk about the downtime in this case. So how can I initiate a downtime? So what I'll do is I'll make some changes in my code, so it will go through the build phase, and then after the build phase will be passed, the deploy UK phase will be starting. So what I'll do is I'll access the URL for the deploy pilot UK, and I'll refresh it every zero point 0.1 seconds, and we'll see that whether the application is present or not. Yeah, so again I'm making some changes in my manifest.yml file. So I'm doing nothing, I'm just going to commit the basic thing. Okay, so I'm just committing it so that the code will go through the build phase. So as you can see that the build phase has been initiated. So the deploy pilot UK phase has been started. So now I'll access the URL just to make sure that the deployment does not disrupt the normal functioning. So in order to check the same, so what I'll do is yeah, hi. So in order to check whether the URL is still accessible while deploying the application, so what we'll do is so I've installed a Chrome application, the extension called the Auto Refresh Plus. So I want my application to refresh after every zero point 0.1 seconds. While the deployment is going on, I'll just check whether the application is still accessible or not. As you can see that even though the active deployment is going on, the application is still accessible. Now I'll check the status of the deployment, whether it is still going through the deployment, or has it been successfully done. As you can see that the deployment has been successfully done on the deploy pilot UK, and still the URL is still accessible. So thereby we can say that the blue-green deployment is successfully done, and thereby there will be a no downtime in accessing the link. So therefore the third question has been successfully done. Since I can't cover each and every application deployment in this video, so I'll just cover it up with the UK pilot one.